Good morning, guys. I hope you guys are all doing good. Happy Saturday. I'm really excited that we have the opportunity to see the beauty of another day. No matter how hard things are, we thank God for life. And today, thanks be to God, I have my brother, our very own Kwame No Face in the house again, uh, to have another very interesting conversation. And I hope you guys can hear us good. There's this noise on your side, Kwame No Face. I hope you're good.
Yes, I'm good.
Okay. So, guys, we are here this morning, our time, afternoon, Ghana time, England time, European time, to have a very constructive conversation. If you're Ghanaian, the airways have been quite busy this week. A lot of things have happened. Um, a story in particular which had a lot of people, especially we women, outraged was um, a story by a brother who is a journalist that we all knew well. Some of us loved very much. And it wasn't the story necessarily that upset people too much, but the comments that were made by women. Because in this whole issue, they are or were the victims in this issue. But the comments that were made, the advice that was given to women about how condoning cheating in marriage or relationships is some kind of a badge or a trophy that people wear is what made a lot of very independent women, women who have everything of their own, who have the opportunity to make choices, upset. Because it created this, atmosphere as if to say that if you don't condone cheating, then you are not really a woman amongst women. Now, I've seen a lot of comments being made by different sorts of people. You can choose to look at this however way you decide to. But the reason why my brother is back in the house today, because he wanted to talk about something completely different, and we had this conversation here, is that the root cause of this whole problem has to do with the way human beings are raised, how children are raised, how mothers and fathers love their children, make their children feel that they matter. And so we've decided that we're not going to go down, who said what, insulting, and not having conversations that are going to lead anywhere, but we want to tackle this whole thing from the root cause. Last week, if you guys were here, we were talking about assets and liabilities in relationships. And so I felt that this guest that we're about to hear from, who is a dad raising a kid on his own, would have a perspective about this whole issue. Because I am sure, I know them quite well, that being a single dad looking after his daughter, who he loves so much, like when you start talking to him, all he ever talks about is this girl. If this daughter of his ends up in that kind of a position, I don't think that this guy would be excited. Anyway, let me stop talking too much and just ask Kwame No Face this morning, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing fine.
Okay.
I'm doing good. Yeah.
Thank you for coming back on the show, for taking time out your busy schedule for being here. We are grateful.
Thank you too for having me.
Right. So, Kwame No Face, I know that you heard what happened this week. You are a man and you saw what happened this week. What was your take before I start asking you questions about parenting and all of that? What was your take on everything that you saw happen? You heard the story, you were there. So what happened? How do you feel?
For me, this there's no blame game in this.
No.
I'll just simplify and say the guy is an idiot. and the woman is an idiot too.
Oh
That's it.
wow. Okay.
It's plain and simple because reading that story or hearing what the guy said,
Mhm,
that the lady has played a major role in his life
mhm,
to the extent that he goes to have children, and this lady makes sure that his kid that he has with other women are okay. The guy is a fool to begin with, and the lady is also stupid for allowing that to happen. Because one thing I've noticed about human beings is that when you don't stand your ground sometimes in life,
mhm,
they will take advantage of you. It's simple,
mm,
right? He's done it once and she's there for him. So at the back of his mind, oh, this woman is kind of stupid. Oh, anything I do, she's not gonna leave. But the word get go. If the first thing he had done, the lady had said, you know what, I've had enough of you. I don't want you around me no more. I don't want to see you no more. Whatever you go to do or what you do from henceforth is your own problem. There wouldn't have been a second, a third, and we getting to this level in which we are in, where they are disgracing themselves on social media by saying, oh, I am surprised that my wife is still around. What does that mean?
mm,
You are surprised that your wife is around. Now I don't know the background of this guy,
mm,
but if this guy had a father who
mm,
had taught him that living with one woman and appreciating what a woman does for you, and you don't need to go behind her and maltreat a woman, and make her feel so low, that dude would never have ended where they are today. And if the girl's father or what family she also grew in empowered her to let her know that you are powerful and you shouldn't allow yourself for a man to treat you to this level, that would also never have happened, right? So both parties are to be blamed. And thirdly, too, I blame, you see, you don't wash your dirty linen outside.
mm,
That's one thing you don't really do.
mm,
You shouldn't sit on social media or and broadcast that, oh, and this and that and this. No, you understand, this is something between you and the woman you live with,
mm,
right?
mm,
And sometimes too, with women or even with women, sometimes low self-esteem can lead to
mm,
things like this.
mm,
Understand?
mm,
When you don't know who you are, when you don't know who you are as a woman in a relationship or a marriage, and when you don't see the value or the worth of who you are, believe me, you will go through things like this all the time in your life until you get to that level that says that, you know what, enough is enough. That's it. I'm also somebody's kid, and I think I'm a powerful woman or I'm a powerful man, and I deserve better. If you don't come to that crossroad, it will just be a repetition of you will leave another man, go to another man, and the same thing will keep occurring until you get to that level where you draw the line and say, you know what, I'm not a cheap woman or a cheap man for anybody to just come and dance around me and leave, right?
Now, Kwame No Face, there's a question that I've always wanted to ask you, and that is that where does this notion that African men, Ghanaian men, are all polygamous in nature, they can't only have one woman that they live with, that it's okay for you to stray and be married, but then have side chicks and back chicks and front chicks on the side. Where has all of this come from, do you think?
Because one, there's no laws governing women like laws governing women here, right? Where when like in Canada or America or Europe or anywhere, when your wife catch you cheating, you already know what happens, right? You get taken to the cleaners and you get cleaned properly.
I
You
love that.
understand? Where you lose half of your house, you will lose half of your money, you will lose half of your property, you will lose half of everything you've worked for, right? Do you know how hard it is just to lose half of everything you've put in 20, 30 years?
Mm.
It is why people in this part of the world are cautious about things like that, because the laws work for women, right? So when you get sent to the cleaners, you live in a $500,000 house. The house will get sold. Half of the money goes to your wife, your kids, before you, the man, even get anything. And you are moving from a $500,000 house to an 1,100 apartment straight up. Now the question is, are you willing to give up that just for a side chick?
Mm.
You understand? But in Ghana, because the leaders themselves do it, they don't want to enforce laws for things like that to be put in place.
Oh.
If what's his name? Kennedy Japan claims he owns 147 houses,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
If the laws really were working and he's got 22 kids or whatever he has in with 8 baby mamas, if the laws wants to share those houses to those baby mamas, you end up having only 3.
He wasn't married to any of them, though, was he? I don't
Yeah,
know.
but it doesn't matter. In this part of the world, the laws work. So that 147 houses he's got will be divided amongst those the baby mamas he's got and his children. So
Mm.
eventually, from 147,
You
he'll be
have
left with
7.
5. Exactly. Next time, he will think before he goes to have another kid with a baby mama. But because the laws in my country, like there was a time ago where the president of our country, there was a scandal about him and Sewa Bruni and all those things.
Yeah.
Now, if Akufo-Addo was a prime minister in UK or a prime minister in Canada, he would have been resigned long time by now. You understand? So, in a way, I'm not saying anything, but Africa, we are like 50 years behind time.
Oh dear.
Are you honest? Exactly. That is why most of our big men don't want to come and live here and all that, because you won't get that slave queen crap that you are doing and all that kind of, like there was another time where Ken Dapa was videoed with a young girl. If it
Yeah.
was in Canada or England or America,
Yeah,
Ken
you'd have
Dapa
to resign.
wouldn't still be in
Yeah.
power or in the ministries by now. He would have
Yeah.
been resigned long time ago, right? So it is where we come from. It is the
Mm.
laws that are governing where we come from. That is why things like that are happening, and they will keep happening until measures are put into place.
Mm.
Are you getting my point?
Mm.
And where we come from, there's a lot that I blame most mothers from where we come from.
Mm.
And I carry bread. Oh, remember my suffering. Remember what we have been through.
Mm.
And you are pushing your daughters to go and sleep with their father's age men to be able to bring in money. And that's wrong.
Mm.
That
Mm.
is wrong. It's the mindset.
Mm.
You understand? And
Mm.
I watch shows in Ghana where now Ghanaian women are into body enhancement and all those kind of stuff.
Mm.
It's backward thinking. What is
Mm.
body enhancement?
Mm.
What about girl power? What
Mm.
about empowering the girls?
Mm.
What about speaking that a woman must be able, like I said this on your show last week, it doesn't matter whether you have a degree or what, that it doesn't matter. A woman must be empowered to be able to, even if you learn how to sew and
Mm.
you can sew properly, believe
Mm.
me, you don't need an old man to come and feed you.
Mm.
You understand? You can
Mm.
sell water on the roadside and
Mm.
make money, and you
Mm.
don't need to go and sleep with your father's age before you make money, right? Hmm. But this
Well,
is a system.
but Kwame, no face. Let's bring this conversation home here. So this particular story that we are referencing in talking about this, I know you're making a wider point here, but this particular story that we're talking about here, if every we are just basing what we're saying solely on that story. If we are going by that story, it doesn't sound like this woman, the wife, was entirely poor, because if she was, she wouldn't have money to put down half a deposit of a house for the husband to live in. She won't have money to be sending for him to rent a place and then bring other women and impregnate them. So she wasn't poor in that in that regard. So what was the issue?
One, it's just a few things. She wasn't raised right by her dad. Maybe
Mm,
the dad was also the kind of man that goes around having babies with other women, so he didn't spend too much time with his daughter, empowering the daughter.
mm,
And two, low self-esteem can make you do a lot of foolish things.
mm,
Low self-esteem can make you lose sight of even who you are. There's a lot of guys that have come outside from Ghana that come from good homes and have succumbed to, you know, women that are of no class of them because they want paper. So
mm,
sometimes circumstances can lead you to do certain things. But in this girl's case, she was
mm,
staying in her own country. She
mm,
didn't need anybody to do anything for her. But the
mm,
problem was low self-esteem can lead anybody, doesn't matter whether it's a man or a woman, can lead you to make a lot of mistakes. Oh, so maybe if I leave this guy, would I go and find somebody else again? Oh, look
mm,
at me, my belly is falling off. Oh, I'm not beautiful as I used to be anymore. All these thoughts can allow people
mm,
to stay in relationships or marriages in which they don't deserve to be in, right?
mm, mm,
So these are issues that most parents need to address, because when you empower your daughter or your son, low self-esteem gets out of the window immediately. When you let your child know that, look, stand tall, be who you are, go out there, don't let anybody look down upon you or talk down to you or do this to you or do that to you, right? Low
mm.
self-esteem is way out of the door.
Right. So I'm glad you've made this point because that's where I was going next and the crux of this whole thing, right? And I'm glad that I have you as a man giving a man's perspective on this particular issue here. You talked about raising sons and daughters' rights, and that's what this is why we're having this conversation. Because as
Mm.
far as we're all concerned, when this is right, then we make sure that things like this never happen. Now, you're a man, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so if you're a man raising another man, and you're talking
Mm-hmm.
about self-esteem and all of that, isn't it important that fathers and mothers raising sons teach their sons that that thing, that dingling that you have, is something that you should cherish and protect yourself as a man? Because we have these conversations with women. Women, you mustn't just allow any man to see what is happening in between your legs. But what about men?
When you have a father who goes around cheating
Mhm.
and having 8, 12, 10, 15 kids, what do you expect the son to be? Monkey
Mm,
see, monkey do.
mm,
It's simple,
mm,
right? When you have a father going around impregnating women and showing you that, or talking down to your mother and beating your mother and doing all those things at home, what do you expect your son to be? He's going to
mm,
grow to be the same,
mm,
because monkey children learn from their parents and and see what their parents do. That's how they learn,
mm,
right? But when you are a father and you go to work and by 5 o'clock you are home, you take your children for tennis practice or you take them for basketball games, or let's say Sunday in Ghana is soccer, you take them to Kotokoyen Hearts and you go and watch Kotokoyen Hearts. What are you doing? You are training your son, and that's the same impact your son is going to have when he has his own kids too,
mm,
right? Because he's seen his dad go to work, close at 4, by 5:30 he's at home. The
mm,
father comes to eat the mother's food. And
mm,
then on the weekends, like good parents in Ghana, I've seen some really great parents where on the every weekend, not even if it's not every weekend, every other weekend, they take their family out to, dollies. Back in the day, they're wearing so many things like we have today, even the little things, or even Sunday beach. I've
mm,
seen parents where their wives cook jollof and all that, and on Sundays the family goes out to the
mm,
beach side and they
mm,
all go and have fun. Exactly. But when you have a father who goes around sleeping with women and every year they are bring, oh, this is your brother, his name is Kofi. What do you expect your children to be? They are going to grow to be like you, thinking it is okay to be like that.
mm. Thank you so much, Kwame No Face. And we have our brother Kwejo in the house. Our brother watches Sika Educates a lot. And yesterday and the day before, when we were posting these videos about what had happened, he also wanted to lean in and give his own 2 cents about what he thinks. And so, our brother Kojo, can you hear me? Can you hear
Yes,
me?
I can hear you very.
Okay,
Yes,
God bless
very
you.
well.
Okay. God bless you. So what did you want to say to us this morning? I know you're busy, so I just wanted you to say what you wanted to say before we continue.
Thank you for having me. I want to take it on a different level.
Okay.
Um, we are in this world to learn
Mhm.
and to solve problems, if you
That's right.
please. So I wouldn't want to be on that tangent of blaming this person or blaming that person. But as our brother said, children learn from the closest environment,
Mhm.
the family first, that is the nuclear family,
Mhm.
the extended family,
Mhm.
and the society in which they belong.
Correct.
Mostly the schools and the nearby society.
Mhm.
And we are surrounded with so many examples of such issues.
Mm.
And so, more prevalently, we are likely to get people picking such characters and thinking they are normal.
Mm.
But in actual sense, those behaviors or characters are not normal.
Mm.
And another thing that I would say from our brother's speech,
Mhm.
when you train the children in a certain way to believe in themselves, to have that self confidence
Mm.
that, however, I am. Let us not forget of the fact that our physical makeup
Mhm.
is not something that we decide on our own.
Mm.
Though there are these body enhancement and whatever, but ordinarily we do not decide on how we will look.
Yeah.
We do not decide on where we will be born.
Correct.
When those issues become a deciding factor in what you do,
Mm.
then in essence you don't even understand yourself as a human
Correct.
being.
Correct.
So if you value yourself, you will not be moved, or you will not act based on what other people say in order to be validated by their perception of life. So your personal values matter very much.
Mm.
I am in a family of six. I am the last born. I
Mhm.
have one brother
Mhm.
and four sisters.
Mhm.
So I was also raised in a Christian family.
Okay.
And as a personal value,
Mhm.
I think from my very childhood days, I thought I shouldn't be validated by other people, as I've said earlier.
Mhm.
I have to be bold in whatever decisions I make and also be responsible for whatever the outcomes are.
Mm.
So I don't allow people to dictate to me what I should do at any point in time.
Mhm.
I make my own decisions
Okay.
and want to be responsible for them.
Okay.
The moment we get to that understanding that whatever we do, we are responsible for them. We may make mistakes, though, but then you learn from those mistakes and progress in life by making informed decisions in your subsequent actions and inactions.
Mm.
So, um, on another side too,
Mhm.
I would want to say that if you enter into a relationship
Mhm.
with the motive of getting for yourself personal belongings or properties,
Mhm.
then you are somehow uh, I don't want I don't know the proper word to use, but in the from the beginning you have failed.
Mm.
Relationships, entering into a relationship, this should be the situation whereby a grown up man and a woman have decided to
Mhm.
come together to
Mhm.
share their lives, their challenges, and everything
Together.
together,
Mm.
and responsible, being responsible for each other and everyone's action.
Mm.
When you begin to go into the relationship, as I said, with the motive of acquiring properties, or
Mm.
why we get married and get the backing of the law.
Mm.
Whatever I do doesn't matter.
Mm.
Properties are going to be shared. I'll have my share and
Mm.
will be better off without the other person.
Yeah.
That is a weak mindset, in my opinion.
Mm. That's selfishness, isn't it? Because you're not in the relationships for the two
Yes,
of you
that
to
is
come
selfishness.
together.
Yes,
Yeah.
for the, yes, and for growing up together. That is selfish and a no-go area for me. So you enter into the relationship with the sole motive of developing one another, enjoying one another, and cherishing one another. And
Mm.
so it is not acceptable for either parties to cheat.
Mm.
It is not acceptable for the man to cheat or to have side chicks, whatever, front chicks, back chicks, or whatever.
Mhm.
In the same way, it is not acceptable for the woman to also be engaged in any other relationship outside of the marriage.
So, Bra Kojo, let me ask you a question. Why do you think that some of you men, some of you, because I know that, and I hope that the two of you that are on this panel are not like that. Why is it that some of you men, you African men, you Ghanaian men, think that you go into marriage and think that it's okay for you to cheat and have side chicks? Why? I want you to answer that question.
As I said earlier,
Mm-hmm.
we learn from our society.
Mm-hmm.
So African societies
Mm-hmm.
believe that our traditional marriages are potentially polygamous.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so when you enter into the relationship, with these examples around us, this man married this number of women, and so it is acceptable. We
Mm-hmm.
pick from our society.
Mm-hmm.
But then the aspect that we are not getting very well,
Mm-hmm.
Christianity and religion has come to play in how we contract marriages or in our relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Some religions allow for multiple marriages. rather than a monogamous marriage. Some religions allow for polygamy, but
But you
for
see,
me,
Brakojo, in this particular case, and as in a lot of other cases, right? When
yes,
you are with one woman, like you, let's say you meet your wife, or before you met your wife, you said that you wanted to be you wanted to be with her by herself. That is what you sold to her from the very beginning, before she agreed
sure,
to marry you, right? You agreed that you only wanted to be with your wife. One, not that
sure,
you met her and from the beginning you told her that, look, I can't be with only you, so I'm going to have multiple women, that she would agree to, right? And then
yeah, yeah.
before long, there's more than one person in the relationship. So you are married to your wife, and then before your wife hears it, you've gone to have some child with some other woman somewhere. You're not married to this other woman. You didn't sell that
That is not
notion to, yeah, you didn't sell that
that is
notion to
not
your wife from the very beginning. Yeah.
so that is not acceptable because it is not part of the bargain to begin with. It is not acceptable
Okay.
because we did not start on that premise, as you are saying, that I'm going to get married or I'm going to have a relationship with X, Y, Z and bring the baggage. You did not agree on that. And
Mm-hmm.
so you are not expected to do that in the relationship. But if you go and do it and the other person also tolerates you and want to absorb whatever baggages that you bring continuously, it makes you have the sense of being accepted anyhow. And so you continue to be indulging in that practice. But if the other person is able to stand her grounds to say that this was not part of our agreement, and so I can't continue in such a way,
Mm-hmm.
then the person is awake and would want to do the right thing.
Mm.
What I wanted to bring the aspect of religion into
Mm-hmm.
this. I want to speak on the side of the Christian religion because it believes in the monogamous marriage. Once you marry, you
Mm-hmm.
are supposed to stick to that
Your
one
wife.
person. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But the aspect that we are losing is that when, as we are promoting marriage with one person, marriage, no relationship outside of the marriage, we don't continually teach people how to sustain that relationship by staying glued to the one person that you have chosen. We don't nurture people in that area so much. And so when there are issues in the marriage and
Mm-hmm.
it goes to the church leaders, for example,
Mm-hmm.
they wouldn't want to face the facts and address the issues as they should be addressed.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually, both parties go back. They are advised not to continue with whatever happened, but to turn a new leaf without going to the specifics of the issues.
Mm.
And so they come back home with those issues still persisting.
Mm-hmm.
The one that is doing wrong will continue to do that wrong thing because
Mm-hmm.
they know when it gets to the church leaders, they are not going to support you to divorce.
Mm.
Even when you are being killed, you are you are being humiliated, whatever. as long as one person is not dead
Mm.
and you have not found the other person in an adulterous relationship, even with that, with the adultery,
Mm-hmm.
the church will still uh, advise you to take the other person and forgive, exercise the highest level of forgiveness, and accept the person.
Mm-hmm.
What I think we should be doing is that as we have adopted this kind of marriage
Mm-hmm.
and would want people to stay in that monogamous relationship, we also have to be very much active in teaching our members what brings about disunity or a break in that monogamous relationship.
Mm.
And when issues come up, address the issues just as they should be. Let the
Mm.
person that is at wrong, at fault,
Mm.
know that they are at fault. And whatever they are doing will bring the relationship to an end.
Mm.
But in most cases, even when the issue gets to, say, the law court
Mm-hmm.
and testimonies
Mm-hmm.
have to be taken to decide on what to do in the court, the
Mm-hmm.
churches will not be willing to be in the court to testify because they think by so doing, one side will be empowered to divorce.
Mm.
So they wouldn't want to go to the court to testify.
Now,
But
Bra Kojo, before you continue there's a question that I want Kwame No Face to answer, and I'll come back to you to get an answer from you also. And that question,
all right,
Kwame No Face, can you hear me? Kwame No Face, are you still there? Hello? Is Kwame No
Yes,
Face?
I
Okay.
can.
Okay. So the question that I wanted to ask you, Kwame No Face, is this: is that Bra
Yes, I'm
Kojo
here.
made okay, Bra Kojo made
Yeah.
a very important point here that um a lot of men are polygamous because of what they saw their parents do. My dad and mom are both from polygamous relationships whereby their fathers had other women that they had children with, right? But my parents decided that based on the consequences of the actions that
Mhm.
they saw, the fact that their parents had other children and the complexities and the confusion and the discord that sowed for them growing up, they didn't want to repeat that. And so that thing never happened. My parents have been married for 45 years. I'm their oldest child. There's three other girls. If, God forbid, my dad drops dead tomorrow, and then they say that my dad had another child with somebody else, it will be the eighth wonder of the world because it ain't never going to happen, right? Kwame No Face, why is it that men of today haven't seemed to have learnt those lessons from old? Because it's history. Why is history repeating itself? Why?
Mm. Well, before I even answer, is it okay if I show my face to the viewers? Is that all
It's
right?
up to you. Of course,
All
you
right.
are the one who is no face. If you want to be yes face, that's fine.
Now, this is what I'm going to say.
Okay.
Biblically, I'm going back to what Kojo said. Now,
Okay.
biblically,
Yeah.
if you look at the Bible, I'm
Yeah.
just going to take two instances from the Bible. Now, when you look at David, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
David, the Bible says, was a man after God's own heart. Now, what did
Correct.
David do? David took Uriah, the Hittite's wife, that's Bathsheba, slept with
Mhm.
her.
Mhm.
Now, what did, God do to David? He sent Nathan to David's house and gave an example that, oh, there's a man who has 20 sheep and this man came from town and he took one sheep of his guest. And then, oh, then David got up and ripped his clothes and said, oh no, this is wrong, blah blah blah. David, there's a man who has 20 sheep and this man came from town and he took one sheep of his and then he's going to cook the sheep for his guest.
Correct.
And then, oh, then David got up and ripped his clothes and said, oh no, this is wrong, blah blah blah. But what happened? Nathan said, "You are the man," and David paid the price for that. That's one. Now we go back to his son Solomon. What
Mhm.
did God tell Solomon when he was blessing Solomon? He said, "Do not take women from this city and that city and that city." But what did Solomon do? He didn't heed to God's advice. He still went, took women from other places, and had, and what happened to Solomon at the end of the day? They said, "Because of the covenant I have with your father David, I'll keep one kingdom." Now, you don't need to be stupid enough in this world not to learn from simple things in the Bible like that. It's already been told right
Mm,
there
mm,
that from
No.
old, nobody has succeeded in doing that. Not even the great men have succeeded in doing that. Now, back to the question you asked me.
mhm,
Society.
mhm,
Sometimes it's not even how you are raised at home, it's
mhm,
society. Let's say
mhm,
I'm a minister, right?
mhm, mhm,
I'm a governing member of the ministers. And
mhm,
then, oh, my minister friend says, "Oh, Peter, do you know, I have this small girl and she keeps me young and this, and your wife is too old. And I see that your wife's belly is falling off and all that." Now, it's up to
unbelievable.
you, the man, to make that decision and choice and say, "You know what? No, my wife was with me when I was young,
Uh-oh.
right?
Mhm,
So I am not going to cheat behind my wife, right? Or I'm not going to take a girlfriend or anything behind my wife." There are certain decisions that fall to you as a
mm,
human being when it
mm,
comes. Even doesn't matter about society, right?
mm,
There are people that were born in extremely poor societies who
mm,
didn't have anything but have
mhm,
risen to become somebody in life. It is
mm,
your mindset, it's how you
mm,
think,
mm,
right? Let's say an example is me. My kid's mom has passed away for almost 4 years now,
mhm,
right? So
mhm,
that give me the opportunity to be bringing different women into my house? What am I teaching my daughter,
mm,
right? So I have made a choice not to do that,
mm,
and my daughter is seeing me go to work and come home every day, cook for her, clean for her, and I spend time with her. So what am I teaching my daughter? I'm teaching my daughter that it is not okay to be doing that,
mm,
right? So for from the biblical point stand of view, if you're a Christian, there's examples in the Bible, right? Even if you are not a Christian and you are a Muslim, I'm sure the Quran and all that, even I know the Quran talks about you having different spouses, but at the same time, Muhammad said, if you think you can handle it, don't do it.
mhm.
You understand? Because
Yeah.
it's a lot of it's a lot of work. Even the noise alone from different women can make you the man go crazy.
Noise.
Exactly. Because this one says, "Oh, and this week you were supposed to spend time with me, but you did not. And last week you went to Ajoy's house and you did not. And I'm seeing Ajoy's son is driving a new car, and my children are still driving an old car. Do you really want to go through all that?
Hmm.
You understand? Do you really want to go through all that? No. You just want to look, having one woman, and I've come to like, as I live on this side of the world, right? I've come to realize that the men here in like Canada and what, their wives are a major part of their success and where they are today.
Hmm.
Their wives are, because the men work, the women work, they live in, some people live in $1 million house. Yeah, you are only looking at it as it's $1 million house. But who helps to do the payment? It's their
Mm,
wives,
mm,
right? So those men cherish their wives
mm,
and realize that that is why it comes to girl empowerment. Once you empower your child, that, and I growing up was taught that when you go into a relationship, go with a mindset of going to help in the relationship. Don't go into the relationship with a mindset of what you are going to get out of the relationship. So it's a long stand. Like, it's it's a big deal. It's parents need to caution. Me for once, I'm against that side chick thing, because the question you need to ask yourself is, when you were in your lowest level, where was the side chick?
Mm.
The side chick is only seeing you being successful today.
Mm.
But the woman in your house that has you been married to and have 4 kids with, she saw you when you were nothing. She was there for you when you guys were eating gari and pepper and half a sardine. She was with you. The side chick is only seeing you blossoming now. She's only seeing the flowers being, roses are all red and everything is so good, and you are driving a nice Honda Accord, or you are in a Mercedes Benz, or as a minister they buy you a V8. So she's only looking at the V8, right? But as a man, you must cast your mind back and ask yourself, when I didn't have the V8 and I was taking the throttle, who was there for me?
Trusky.
Thank you. The moment you see, you sometimes you have to. That's why God gave us the ability to think. You have to think. You have to think. When that lady was cooking for you and you were sleeping in some one shack in Abobloshi somewhere, where was the side chick? The side chick is only looking at you because today you've built a house in East Legon and you are driving a nice Honda Accord and everything is so good. That's what she's seeing now. She never saw that side chick, would never have been with you when you were staying in that one room shack in Agbogbloshie. I guarantee you that. So we men to we must make solid decisions and appreciate the people that helped us when we were nothing. Right? The moment you start thinking like that as a man, believe me, it goes a long way, and it affects your children, your family, everybody around you. Right? So this side chick thing, it's not good. I'm sorry, but there's nothing to justify side chick, because I used to hear people say, you must have a farm and a garden.
Oh dear.
Oh, you can't eat kontomire every day of your life. But when you were in Agbogbloshie, one room shack, you were eating kontomire every day. But now that you have elevated and you think that you are where you are now, I can't eat kontomire every day. I have to eat abenkwan and nkatinkwan and this and that. No, I disagree. Go back and eat your kontomire like that. Right? Accept it, and build the woman who was there for you when you were nothing. Right? Build and common sense should tell you that there was a time you were 15 years, now you are 20, you are 25, you are 30, you are 30. So what about we the men that our belly is falling off? Right? You are not looking like the way you used to look when you were 20 anymore. But this woman is with you still.
With your pot belly like 9 months pregnancy.
Exactly. With your pot belly and you go half around and she's still with you. She's not saying that she's going for another younger man somewhere who is more energetic than you. Right? It's true. No, it's the truth. Because look, I don't care who you are. Doesn't matter how strong you are. As you get older, your body everything slows down. But that woman of yours is not saying that, Kwame No Face is now going half around, so I have to go and look for a man who can take me for 20 rounds. No, she's still with you. So why are you going behind her, going to take a side chick? What sense does that make? Because what that does is that it just brings unhappiness in your home. You become a liar. You come home late from work. As at 10 o'clock, you are still in the office working at 10 p.m. at night. Really? Seriously? What are you doing in your office that can't wait for the following morning? So you must, exactly, bro. You see, it's the mindset. And like my brother on the show said, when you are a Christian, you should know even better.
Mm,
Because you, the Christian, you should know even way better. Because
mm,
there are biblical examples that are
mm,
right there for you.
mm,
Right? There's biblical examples. You don't have to go too far. Your Bible is telling you and
mm,
showing you
mm,
that David did this, Solomon did this
mm,
did that, did this,
mm,
that, and it didn't end well for them.
mm.
Right? So
Kwame No Face, before you
yeah.
continue, you know something, and I hope that I'm not embarrassing my brother Kojo, but we were chatting back door yesterday, right? And you guys may not understand why I brought him on the show today, but he said something that I've been thinking about all night long. Do you know what he said, Kwame No Face? He said that he kept himself. Listen to this, oh. He kept himself until he was done with his education. The woman that he's married to today is the first woman he ever slept with. How many men can say that about themselves in our
Now,
society?
especially our modern day agent man, no, because maybe Kojo is coming from, like he said initially, he grew up in a Christian home, right?
Mm,
So that's what I keep telling you, that where you grow up and who
mm,
your parents are affects your
mm,
life a lot.
mm,
It does, believe it or not. Because when you grow up in a house where, like like me, for instance, I grew up in Belmarkham because my dad was a soldier. But
mhm,
I'm not here to criticize most army officers or anything. But in my days, most of my dad's friends all had kids outside.
mm,
They all had kids outside because
mm.
oh, soldier, no problem, soldier. So they all had kids outside,
Even
right?
today, ones, they are doing well, so they are also doing.
You understand exactly.
Uh,
But looking down the road today, what has that done to their children? It has destroyed a lot of them,
mm,
because this family doesn't talk to this family. And then the sad aspect is when they die and you go, they are fighting over their property. Whilst if you had one wife and kids, you could have just left everything for them, even without a will. Automatically, the laws in Ghana state that whoever is the present wife gets whatever the husband worked for. It's simple. Even without a will, there won't be nobody fighting each other. Everything just automatically goes to your wife and your children, right? But unfortunately, side chick here, side chick there, this here, Adwa here, one kid here, Kojo here, one child here, a Mayfair here, two children here. Buddy, trust me, at your old age, you're going to pay the price for that. So we modern generation men that are coming up must learn to be with one woman. It pays off. Your headache is one. Your everything is one. Everything is one. Your wife understands you when you don't have money. Uh, your spouses know, oh, Kojo, today I don't have money. So you know what? Okay, I know last week you foot the bill. So me to this week I have some money. So I'll also go and make sure that I foot the bill.
hang
It's,
hang up.
but the side chick ain't footing no bill for you. I'm sorry. The side
Hey,
chick is only there
you
with,
have to take care.
yeah. Side chick wants Brazilian hair, and my rent. Oh, and my rent is dying. So you have to come and renew my rent for another 2 years for me. Then you are going to spend what, 20,000 Ghana, 30,000 Ghana to renew a rent for a side chick, whilst an intelligent man will invest that money in his children's education because he's got only one wife. And he and his wife can come to one agreement and say, let's put $30,000 Ghana cedis in Ajoa's educational fund. Let's put $30,000 in Kofi's educational fund. Your children grow up to become people in the society. But side chick here, all these chicks here, and then tomorrow you are dead and gone. There's no physical plan for your children. It's no good. I'm sorry.
Brakojo, what do you want to say? I don't want to eat up all your credit, so please, when you want to go, just say so. But what do you want to say to what our brother just said?
I agree with him on everything that he said. Just to add that um, over here, it is not only the women that are suffering that kind of fate, if I should say. because I joined my church leadership at an early age,
Mm-hmm.
and I've sat in divorce or marital issues settlement, a whole lot of them, and the experience I have gathered, um, I've come to understand that so many men are also going through this kind of trauma just because of the fact that our churches do not support divorce, and whatever happens, they would want you to stay.
Mm.
Yes. And as I said earlier, people have used that as some sort of means of wealth acquisition once they enter into the relationship. It doesn't matter what they are bringing on board. Even if they don't have anything and you have, when there is a divorce, they are going to benefit. So once when they enter, the moment they enter, they start counting the properties and the shares they would get when there is a divorce, rather than seeking to develop one another and children if you have. For me, even if you don't have children, that is nobody's issue. Once the two of you agree to stay together, you accept each other with their flaws.
Mm.
If, for instance, the man is not able to produce active sperms to impregnate the woman, you can agree to adopt. And in like manner, if the woman is unable to bear children, you can agree to adopt.
Mm.
That mentality of having children at all costs. And so when the woman feels the man is not able to produce active sperms to impregnate her, she will go and have another relationship to bear a child. And when the man feels the woman is unable to bear him children,
Oh,
he goes
quickly,
out
speedily.
to impregnate someone and bring the child to the family.
Yes,
For me,
yes, yes.
uh, that shouldn't be encouraged.
Mm.
Once you agree to marry the person, if those challenges happen on the way, because there are so many factors that can come into play to make one unable to bear children or to produce active sperms to impregnate a woman, and that may happen after the marriage. Nobody has any guarantee that you would maintain the state in which you were from day one till both of you or one of you leaves this planet. And so we should start teaching our members or our people that when you marry, there are some non-negotiables. And the major one amongst them is this cheating.
Oh.
Once the other person,
Mm.
once the other person cheats, it is a no. And the churches and whatever institutions around should support the faithful one to leave. If you would advise the person to exercise forgiveness, it is just advice. But you don't insist. You don't insist and push the person to continue in the yes. Let the offending one know that they have offended and they are only at the mercy of the faithful one if he or she is to keep them. So if the person doesn't accept them with that cheating, that instance, I'm not talking of this repetitive cheating today, being forgiven tomorrow, doing the same and being for no. Even in the first instance, let the faithful one know that they have the right to leave the relationship.
Mm.
And so, if they decide to forgive the cheating partner and keep them, it is their decision.
Okay.
But don't force them to stay in, because once that relationship comes, whatever agreement or whatever vows that you both subscribe to from the beginning has been broken by the one that cheated. And so you don't force the person to stay. You only plead and advise.
Bra
So
Kojo,
many
and
people
and
have
yeah,
lost their lives in such relationships because they were forced by churches and institutions, making it very difficult for
yeah,
the faithful one to exit. So
yeah,
they keep staying till finally they lose their lives.
yeah,
For instance, when you are in a relationship, where the other person has consistently requested for divorce, and even on top of that, threatening to commit suicide, should they continue in the relationship.
wow,
And church leaders, whatever institutions that we have around, will come in support of that person because they are somehow able to dramatize situations to make them feel they are the ones that are going through pain in the relationship.
mhm,
It is not about who is able to dramatize. Marriage is not a theater stage or a
mhm,
drama for anyone to
wow,
display the highest emotions,
yes,
to get the sympathy of others. The moment we begin to sympathize with people on the basis of they being able to narrate stories in a certain way that makes it very miserable, look very miserable, but not going to the root of the issues to find out whether what the person is saying is true or not,
mm,
but supporting them anyhow because they have been able to display some kind of emotions that
mhm,
touches your heart,
mm,
and so you support that party without listening to the other person and evaluating the evidences on the ground.
Bra
We
Kojo,
get
and
so
and
emotional in such issues and most often side with the ones that are.
Bra Kojo, I don't know whether you can hear me. Kwame No Face, I don't know whether you guys can hear me, but I have a
Hello,
I
question.
can
I
I
have a
can hear you.
question that yeah, I have a question that I
hello,
want to ask. Yes, can you hear me?
hello.
I have a question that
I can
I want to
I can't hear you.
yeah. Oh please come back. Leave and come back.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, so I have a question that I want to ask the two of you. I'll start
I
with
can hear
Kwame No
you.
Face. Yes, and then I'll ask you to Brakojo. And this question is this is that because I don't have a lot of time, I need to go to work in another 45 minutes. And I want to ask this question. There's three questions I need to ask the two of you.
Yes,
And
I
the
can
thing
hear
is
you.
this. The first question that I want to ask here is this is that um I was I had the privilege. of witnessing my grandmom.
Maybe someone has joined with
I had the privilege of watching my grandmom. Kwame no face. I don't think that our brother Kojo can hear me. I had the privilege of watching my grandmom do what Kofi TV's wife Miracle did, which is she was married to my granddad. My granddad, she was the wedded wife, right? And then she had her first child. She went to her mom. You know how in back in the day when you're pregnant, they send you off to go have your kid with your mom at your mom's and come back. So she went and she came back. By the time she got back, the husband had two children. She only had the one. So do the maths. She got pregnant the second time. By the time she came back, there was two children. So now there's four children. But because she was taught that, you must be a woman, you must keep your home, the marriage is your responsibility, the success or failure of the relationship is all in your hands, she stayed. This man then decided that my grandma was too old. He needs fresh blood. He needs younger woman. So he went in and brought a younger woman, drove my grandmother from the main house into the garage with his eight children that he had with him, of which two passed away, but six children, let's just say, in that place, together with the other two that had been brought from, you know. So, the point I'm trying to make here is that I was 0 years old and my grandma was in her 60s, right? I met her when I was in the 80s. She died when I was 32 at the age of 91. And at the point of dying, this woman had Parkinson's, she had diabetes, she had high blood pressure. Peter, it was so difficult that this woman had to sit down with literally the bowl in her face to be able to eat, because if she makes the effort to pick the food with the spoon, three-quarters of it will be on the floor before it gets to her mouth. She died because of the pain of watching the husband repeatedly going out there, having kids, bringing them back, and making it her responsibility. And of course, when he was dying, when my grandfather was dying, who do you think came and did the bum wiping and the cleaning and until he died? She nursed him till he died. So the point that and this Kofi TV story, when I heard it, it just brought back those emotions from watching my grandmom go through that and die a painful, needless death. That listening to this story and the way the women were advising other women, it made me cry. I wasn't laughing at this issue, right? Now, the question I'm asking here is, should women really stay in these kinds of relationships just because they want to be Mrs. something, Mrs. Aponchiba, Mrs. whatever? Should we stay because of that?
You know what? I'll just make this real quick. Like my brother Kojo said, the church doesn't allow you, especially when you are in, that church formation of marriage, doesn't, and then they use the Bible to say, oh, the Bible is against divorce. But common sense should tell you, when you read your Bible too well, God chastises you when you do wrong.
Mm,
Right? God is the
mm,
sure.
man who created us. Even though he
mm,
loves you, he
mm,
chastises you. Like I
mm,
said, two examples for you, David and Solomon.
mm,
Right? David was chastised by God because of the
mm,
decision he made to sleep with
mm,
somebody else's wife. Now
mm,
let's bring this back to, look, why die in a relationship? Why don't you? Are you not better off just getting divorced, moving on with your life? Because the part of the world we come from, like my brother Kojo said, divorce is a big thing, right?
it's a no. Mm,
Yeah, but this part of the world I live in, divorce is the norm of the day. It don't work, it don't
mm,
work, goodbye,
mm,
right? So
mm,
I'm not advocating divorce.
mm,
Well, maybe this is what I would advise all women. Your husband goes to cheat and you find out. give him only one warning.
Mhm.
That's it. One.
Mhm. Mhm.
And once you give him that one, that Kojo or Kofi or Kwame, if you cheat again, I'll pack my bag and I'll leave. And the next time he cheats, please pack your bag and leave. But the problem with our African women is that most of them are dependent on their men. So sometimes it is difficult to leave that marriage and go and start on your own. That is why I believe in girl empowerment. Because
Mm.
when a woman is empowered,
Mm.
my brother, believe me, she will leave and go and rent a one room somewhere and leave you alone. So
Mm.
this has to do with empowering women, letting women understand that don't rely on a man or don't rely on a spouse, right? Once and then have your own job. It doesn't matter whether you work for the government or you work for an NGO or you have your own small business. Make sure you have a form of income where one day, if things like this do occur in your marriage, please leave. Your life is worth
Sure.
more than any cheating or anything. Leave. Yes, I know the church is against it, but at the end of the day, excuse me to say this, and I don't want any Christians to take, but the church doesn't pay your bills for you. The church doesn't,
Exactly. Mhm.
you understand? The church doesn't pay your
Mhm.
bills for you, nor does the
Mhm.
church really
Sure.
do anything for you. The church, yes,
Mm.
I understand that, sometimes you go through hardships and the church is there because we pay tithes, we do offerings, so the church is there to help you. But in
Mhm.
decisions like this,
Mhm.
make up your mind. Even if your pastor says all that, just tell the pastor that also for my life is worth more than me dying. So
Mm.
I think it's time for me to move on. Right.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
my main focus is girl empowerment because where we come from, women have been trained that a man is supposed to do everything for you. But I'm telling you that a man is not supposed to do everything for you. You can do everything for yourself. It starts from your mind, your mindset. You see, there's a God-given gift in all of us. Until you tap that gift, you will never know who you really are. And then you say, if I had only known, I wouldn't have succumbed to a man buying me fried rice and me going to sleep with him because you haven't tapped that God-given gift that he's giving you, right? You understand? So to me, it starts from girl empowerment. And then secondly, it's not only girl empowerment. Our modern day men must begin to think differently.
Mm.
The mindset must begin to change. The fact that
Mm.
Asimisi is doing it doesn't mean I should also do it.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
understand?
Hit
And
hit it.
and
Hit it. Hit
yeah, you
it.
understand?
Uh-huh.
No, it's true.
Uh-huh.
Our
Uh-huh.
men must have a really different mindset, especially African Ghanaian men, because like this part of the world, I'm telling you, they will take you to the cleaners. So you yourself, you are careful with, even if you are talking to a woman, you are bound to go to the cleaners. You got to be careful. Records can be pulled. It doesn't matter. The system is so advanced that they can go and pull 10 years of your phone record with whoever, with pictures and everything. So the law court is going to favor the woman, right? You understand? So here is different. But back home, there's too many laid back laws for women. Women are still considered, oh, a woman's job is to cook and clean. Who told you that? That a woman's job, yes, a woman is supposed to raise a kid, is supposed to cook and clean for them herself. But in this part of the world, I've seen women hold very high positions and they make money and they help their men. That doesn't stop them from cooking at home. They still cook at home. They still take care of the kids. But the women are more helpful to their men than a woman that has her hands just closed in her legs and waiting for, oh, I said Kojo Koban over here. No, it's not written anywhere. So it begins with the mindset, right? Look at you today. Right after this show, you are going straight to work, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So are you going to sit down for a man to be cheating behind you and to be, no, you're not, because you hold your own down. So if it's
Good.
not working for you, have a good day. I'm gone. Right?
Migan.
You know
Yes. Long time.
exactly. So
Mhm.
and men too. This goes to all men too. Sometimes we need to date challenging women. You know, we shouldn't just settle for any asimisi or any. Marry a challenging woman, because a challenging woman keeps you on your toes, right?
Thank you.
Exactly. You marry a challenging woman, marry a woman with a vision and a focus. Because when you are married to a woman like that, nothing will even tempt you to go and cheat behind a woman.
Hmm.
You understand? Because this woman is earning money, has a really good job, right? And is helping you. At the end of the day, she helps you pay the bills. She helps you pay school fees. Are you that stupid enough to go and cheat behind this woman? with excuse me to say, with a side chick that stays at home and is always on Facebook and Twitter, and all they do is put pictures of themselves on Twitter and Facebook and whatever uh, else is out there. Do you really do you want, I mean, where is this side chick, excuse me to say, where is this side chick going to take you? Let's be honest here, right?
The
So
second question I have for you before we bring our brother Kojo in is this: is that cheating is a choice. Explain.
yeah, it's like, it's self-explanatory. You just said it. It's a choice,
Mhm.
right? It's a choice. Do I want to cheat? You see, uh, 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 from what I've noticed is that cheating usually comes from women that don't want to do anything with themselves. Because when you are married to a man for 10, 12, 15 years and you are not helping him, my sister, the man gets fed up with you. It's
No,
natural.
but Kwame No Face, in this particular case, and I'm saying this again, this woman had money. It's not. She was rather looking after this man.
In the beginning of the show, you heard what I said. The guy, the guy is a fool, and the woman is also a fool. I started by saying that, right? The guy is an idiot. How can you have a woman that has brought you out from nothing to be somebody, and you be treating her like that? That's one. And two, the woman is stupid to also be sitting down and allowing that, because the man has come to realize that, oh, this one, even if I go and have 10 children behind her, she won't go anywhere. So they are both at fault. It is up to them to go back to the drawing board and apologize to each other, especially the man, not the woman, because from what I heard, the woman hasn't cheated behind him yet. So it is up to the man to go back to the drawing board and say, my wife, I have, like David and the rest did. God, I have offended you. Forgive me, and I'll make sure I don't go back to commit this mistake again. Exactly.
But when somebody has cheated repeatedly like this, Kwame No Face, is this not a habit, a behavior? Can it change? Because me, I
Eh,
can
eh,
never trust somebody like this again. I can't.
Exactly. The guy, even if I was the radio station, I will ban the guy from being on the radio for the next 6 months so that he can go home and do a self checkout on his own, right? But where we come from, we don't entertain things like that, right? You sit, I own a radio station, and you sit on my radio station and tell me this, I will ban you for 6 months and let you go stay home and do a self evaluation, and you will stay home 6 months without pay, so that within that 6 months, when you are not getting any money, that is when you begin to value that woman you have, because she will be feeding you for the next 6 months. Then you will know the value of that woman. And you know, some people are just evil-minded. You know, some men are with only women just for them. It's like when we used to be school, we used to have something we call help me pass my exam and I'm gone, something like that, right?
Help me finish
You
my course.
Exactly, that's the right word. Help me finish my course and I'm gone, right? So there are certain men with notions like that. Help me finish, or help me get to stage 2, and then I'll teach you a lesson. That's an evil human being. You understand? Exactly. We must all help each other. It's natural. We must all empower each other. Now, Will Smith said something, right? He says the 5 texts you get on your phone every day is what makes you or unmakes you. Your first 5 texts you get on your phone. You know, you must surround yourself with men that will empower you, men that will tell you, hey, Kojo, this is not good. I think Ajwa is a good woman. So make sure you treat her well. Don't cheat behind Ajwa. Society, it depends on the kind of friends you have too, right? So you see, it goes all the way down. Friends, society, church, all those things, they all play a part in all these things, you know. So sometimes you just must be careful with the people you hang around with. That's all, you know. And that will straighten out your life. And and to me, I'm sorry, but side chick can't do anything for me. Exactly. What is side chick anyways?
Bra Kojo, Pacho, can you add to what our brother has said? Because we're going to be wrapping up shortly. Can you hear me? It looks like our brother is here, but his thing is still. So let's continue here, and I'll try and get him back again to come back. I'll be talking to him back door here. But Kwame No Face, two things that actually drove me crazy and made me upset with that whole story was that there were other women in the house where the party was going on, because it was Kofi's birthday and they were having a party, and then he wanted to use the opportunity to ask people to thank his wife or apologize on his behalf, whatever. There were other women there. One particular woman stood up, somebody that I have a lot of respect for, who said that the woman staying and allowing Kofi to do all he did and coming back and still accepting him home makes her a woman among women. I'll say it in Chi because it has the bigger effect. Or say, so wamma Kofi etimi akoye ne okoye ye nyina no obaye na watimi agye no Emma we obamuma, like a woman among women, as if to say that if you're a woman and you're not tolerating cheating, you're not a woman amongst women. Now that's got me, and I want you to say something about that.
You know, I really don't know where to start and how to end this, but maybe the woman is going through the same thing Kofi's wife is going through. Is why she said that, right? Because I am training my daughter right now to be a woman of substance, to be able to help a man. Do you think I want a man to be having children behind my daughter and for her still staying with a man like that? No. Right? You know, so that lady or whoever she is with, her mind, her mind is not screwed on well. No, her mind is not screwed on well. Because if your mind is really screwed on well, and I can imagine how much money that woman has invested in Kofi or whatever for him to be where he is. It's not easy. Right? And I believe that the Kofi guy or whoever, whatever his name is, also has children. And the question he should ask himself is, what if somebody does this to my children? Would I be okay with it? Right? Or the lady who is saying, oh, the lady is amongst women. What if I did that to her daughter? Will she be happy? You understand? So, like the saying goes, what you don't want to be done to you, don't do unto others. It's simple. Right? But I think that Kofi should be banned from the station for like 6 months. That's what I think. Yeah, I'm telling you, if I own that radio station, that guy won't work there for the next 6 months.
You're making Brakojo laugh.
and he's going home without salary. You understand? For 6 months. So for 6 months, when there's no salary, that woman will be feeding you for 6 months. Then within that 6 months time frame, you will know the value of what you had. Do you understand that? You know, from where we come from, like I said, maybe the owner of the radio station himself is doing it. So he's not going to ban him from you know, exactly. He's doing it himself. So, you know, but anyways, I'll let Brakojo also, you know, share his views because I know you have to go to work.
Yeah, in about 20 minutes or so, we will be done. So, Brakojo, the floor is yours. What are your last words before I?
Sorry, my line kept breaking, so I couldn't follow to get some of the questions. But in this specific instance, I am of a different opinion. Maybe I did not follow the story correctly as I should.
Okay.
But from what I got from the video, I thought from the very beginning, our brother had wanted to marry and stay with the lady.
Mm-hmm.
Only that the father didn't allow because of the relationship between them. That the father
Yes.
helped him in several ways, brought him to the
Felt
family,
the
and
father felt betrayed. Yes.
yes, the father felt betrayed because
Yes.
he impregnated the lady. But from the very onset, he was willing to marry the lady and stay with her. So we should give him that benefit of the doubt that if the marriage had been allowed and then he went on to do all those cheating outside, then we can go for what our brother is asking for, the banning from the radio station. But in this specific instance, he was willing from the very onset to settle with the lady. Only that the father felt betrayed and didn't allow. However, that said, there is also the other side that says that I'm quoting from a certain woman called Ellen G. One of her books. She says, temptation, however strong, is not an excuse for sin.
Thank you.
So, though the father wasn't allowing the marriage, and so there was the temptation to get himself out of that frustration, that loneliness, or whatever trauma he was going through. However strong those temptations, they were not in any way excuses for him to have sinned, and for that matter to commit those uh, cheating blunders, if I should term it that way.
Okay, Kwame, no face. It looks like our brother Kojo is having issues again. Now, one thing that I wanted to say to what he was saying before he went was that yes, the father of the woman did not allow the marriage because he felt threatened and he felt betrayed. Because Kwame No Face, look at you, you have a daughter. If I'm a man and I come to live in your house or I come close to you because you want to help me and I end up sleeping with your kid and get her pregnant, I don't think you will be laughing. That's one. Number two, the second point is also that, yes, Kofi may not have been allowed to marry this woman because the
But that
man was
doesn't
angry.
justify him going around making an accused with other women.
Because he didn't just have one child with another woman,
Exactly.
he had other children.
Exactly. It doesn't justify you going around making babies with other women. Number one, you are breaking a man's heart by him picking you from the street and bringing you into his house and having impregnating his daughter already. So come on, so how is this girl's father feeling right now?
Terrible.
Listening to this, and then now the father will say, well, I told you my daughter, but you didn't listen to me. So Kofi has disgraced the man and disgraced the daughter both.
Mm.
You understand? So this is wrong. Like, it's totally wrong. I disagree. Out of he shouldn't have done that to begin with, especially where a family has picked you up from the trash and has made you who you are. You don't go around and doing this. At least give the father some form of thank you. Thank you for helping me. And I'm going to be honest and faithful to you by being honest and faithful to your daughter. Right? It's simple. Because they picked you up from the ground. Right? You know, from ground zero. You know, even me, that nobody has picked me up from ground zero and I am where I am, I'm not even still going to do that to somebody. So how much more you that were picked up from this man saw you saw potentials in you, brought you into his house. You impregnated the daughter. Of course, you don't expect him to let you marry his kid. This is just common sense.
Okay, so I've got 20 minutes and I really must run, but I'm really happy to have our brother Kweko in the house. You can see that he's itching to say something.
Oh no, no.
So
I
so
have
so please say what you
I
want to
have
say.
I have 5 minutes to just
Okay,
I saw you on live. I'm a soccer
okay,
with my son.
okay.
Uh I heard my brothers talking about how Kofi should be banned from the radio station, and what he said was, I'm not here to defend Kofi, but I 100% everything my brother's saying, I disagree. And in life, people make mistakes. People make mistakes, and I don't understand when people don't want people to tell their life story, the truth about stories. I just don't understand. They want Kofi to come and lie to the world what he been through. So my brother is saying how, like, if you listen to the Kofi story, and I'm not here to defend Kofi, and I repeat myself, but once you start talking about this and you're not in their side, people say, oh, people who are supporting this are in the same situation. No, your mind and my mind is completely different. And how you think and how I think is completely different. Kofi give us 5% of the story, or maybe less than 5%. And everybody can just share opinion how he or she understand it. The whole story is Kofi met a man who helped him out.
Mhm,
Then Kofi was interested in the man's daughter. He get her pregnant. The man decided, I'm not gonna let you marry my daughter.
mhm,
This happened in our culture so many times.
mhm,
That whereby you're interested in a lady, or a man going to marry the lady, bring it to the house, your parents will tell, oh, we don't want this family. It happened a lot.
mhm,
Kofi decided to move on.
mhm,
Yes, he moved on in life because he has a baby with the lady. They still
mhm,
have contact,
mhm,
and everybody who is on the platform will witness that. Anytime you have a baby or something outside, and you are a responsible man, you will not cut that family out of your life.
mhm,
You still have contact.
mhm,
So Kofi have contact with her. They talk.
mhm,
When Kofi have issues, according to Kofi, he contact her. Hey, I need help. I'm in this kind of situation. She helped him out.
mhm,
So Kofi move on. And who hasn't ever before lift up your hand in life? Nobody gonna sit on this platform say he hasn't made mistakes like
mhm,
that before. Why we
mhm.
sit here and judge people like Kofi should ban from what radio station, Mister? So Kofi make mistakes in life. Yes, he screw up. He went around and did all this. Imagine the girl wasn't sitting there waiting for him. The girl moved on too. The girl did it. Even her parents gave her to another guy to even get married. So Kofi realized that, hey, this is the situation I'm in. I still really like this lady, even though I made all these mistakes. I won't sit there for her to get married. You get what I mean? Then Kofi went back. So many people have this experience that they've been, you dated a guy in college, doing your co-op work somewhere. You have good relationship. Everybody move on. 10 years later, you married, she married. 10 years later, you're not married, you're single, she's single. You went to a party, you met her again, then you reconnect. Right now, I'm talking to you now. I know a lady that who's in Germany, and her husband passed away. Then he just met a guy that he used to date, a boyfriend. The guy broke up. Then guess what? She's getting married this week in Ghana. How beautiful. Everybody have a past. So I'm not
No,
here to
but my
defend Kofi.
brother Kweku, I don't think that we are here judging him per se. We were using his story, right?
Yes.
We were using his story as a test case to advise all of us. Now, you said something about they both went their separate ways and did whatever they did, and now they've come back together. But Kofi himself, in his story, said that there were times when this woman that he's now married to i.e., Sister Miracle, will send him money to rent a place and he's sleeping with other women. He said it himself.
Okay.
So by
Let
his
me.
own presentation, we are basing
Mhm.
it on what he himself said.
Okay. Let me come in here. Let me come in here. How many women in abroad? Listen, brought a man from Ghana. Brought a man from Ghana, and the guy came and leave him or her. How many times Ghanaians women helped? Kofi had relationship with the lady, just a friend. He has a baby. Kofi, I'm not saying Kofi supposed to depend on her, but this is common in our society that you met a lady that the family is rich. The family will help the guy put him in the right place, or the girl will help him for him to get in his feet. I'm surprised that people taking this, why there is so many women that helping men in our community, and later on they broke up. They don't come back together again. So I have 2 minutes. Let me wrap up. He was saying something about what Kofi said in the radio. He's supposed to be banned for 6 months, or he's supposed to be sacked. I don't think Kofi didn't plan, and I'm not here, I repeat myself, to defend Kofi. The whole show they did, that day was Kofi's birthday. The wife surprised him. And while he was talking after the show, he decided to I feel like saying this. And he dropped out this bomb to the media. Nothing was planned. If you realize, if you listen, when they were doing the show, the owner of the show sent a message, tell them to stop, or not, for him not to talk about this issue. He still continued because he was emotional. And I don't see anything wrong for him speaking out, telling people his experience, for people to learn from it, that he made mistakes and he still get back to the same lady he really loved. So I hope I make it clear
No,
about,
no, no.
as I said.
No. We thank you for your comments here, Brakweku. And I am not really understanding why you're thinking that we're here chastising Kofi,
Oh
right?
no, I didn't say that.
Yeah.
I was,
We
as I said, I'm not here to defend Kofi, but it's just I was disagreeing that, it's agree and disagree.
Of course.
What he was saying about how Kofi did this, he's supposed to be banned. This,
Yeah, he's
and
supposed to be banned because the owner of the place even called him and told him not to say that.
he didn't call.
It's
He
my radio
text.
station. I
Correction.
don't want you to
Text.
say that. So, like I'm saying, if I own that radio station, my brother, I will ban him from 6 months without pay. So next time he be careful with what he says on there. You see, there's
Well,
nothing wrong. It's a good thing to advise people not to do that. But these things are done at a certain time and place.
Mm.
okay.
You understand? Even to the extent that the owner of the place has even called you and warned you not to say that.
Yeah. Our
He
brother
didn't
said he
want him. He
texted
sent
him.
them.
He
He
texted
test.
him.
He
He
did.
sent
He
him a
test
message.
somebody. He sent
Yeah.
somebody. He test somebody, and that
To tell
person
them
sent
not to
the
continue with the conversation. Okay.
conversation,
All
and
right.
You
that's
see,
why
my
I
man,
believe
I don't know
he
about
didn't
you, but
show up.
I have a daughter. And if something like this happens to my daughter, I won't be too happy about it, right? And these are things that we must all learn from. And like you said, women have brought men from Ghana to Germany and the men have left. Excuse me, sister, those men are stupid.
Hmm.
Those men are stupid. That's my opinion.
I
Because
disagree. I disagree. I
exactly.
understand that, but what I'm trying to tell you is, in relationship, you can't tell somebody when they're dying to stay with that person, and women go through the same issues. They have men's abusive women, and this woman still stay in the marriage, and at last minute it causes issues. It cause some people are dying. People get, it's crazy. So we have this mindset that, oh, somebody help me. So guess what? That person is doing something to me. I have to accept it. This is the mindset of us. If that person is killing you, sit there and let him kill you. No,
No.
we are 21st century. If you do something that I'm not, I don't care what you did it for me. I will respect your privacy. I'll give you the respect. But that relationship, you can't stay in. It's not healthy for you. So what for you, and I understand it. If somebody help you, doesn't mean that person is killing you. You have to stay in that relationship.
No, I don't mean it in that way. I was saying that you said women have gone to bring men from Ghana into Germany and the men have left them. And I'm saying that to me, it is wrong. You don't do that because your parents didn't help you. It is your job as a father or a mother to help your children. It's not somebody else's job to help you. So when you have somebody outside your family helping you, look, all these things, they bring you blessings in your life, one way or the other, but you don't see it. And somebody helping you and you turning your back against them also builds curses in your life. Along the line, you go through so many things that you keep asking yourself, oh, but you don't see what you did. You understand? Somebody, if you don't love somebody, why are you coming to Germany because you want to come to Germany because you want to use somebody?
Hey, my brother, I still disagree with you. So you still want to tell me that you have to, somebody helping you, you have to stay in it. You can love somebody today. 5 years from now, you lose that person. The love, it's not the same. Bring your relationship together. When you met, how the relationship, how close, tight, loving it is. After 5-10 years, it's not the same.
You guys have 3 minutes each to wrap
But
up. So
you know
wrap
what,
up.
my
What
brother,
do you want? What are your last words?
if you love somebody, the love doesn't go away after 5 to 10 years. Then that means it wasn't love to begin with. It was you having a different mindset.
As I said,
to use
that's
the person.
your opinion. That's your opinion. Nobody's using nobody. You still will love the person, but guess what? You have your differences, and things don't work out. You move on. It's like my African people. They can stay in one work for 20 years, one company, and the same company is like they're not making no progress. Because I worked there for 10 years, 20 years, I still have to stay here. Why they can use the experience or what in that they use it to get better job. And they don't do that. Or
Okay,
Sister,
thank
thanks for
you.
having
Thank you
me.
so, of course. Thank you so
I
much for
know,
coming.
I'm a disagreeing guy.
That's
This
fine.
is
We know
me.
you are the
So,
beef commissioner. We know.
have an amazing day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Now, back to what we were saying here. And you guys have 5 minutes each to wrap up. We can agree to disagree here. This
That's
is
fine.
part of life. Everybody is entitled to their opinion, and that is his opinion. And just in the same way, you guys are also entitled to yours and express that. You see, and this is the thing
So
that I have said it so many times, but it looks as if people have put corkscrews in their ears and they're not hearing me. I said this at the start of the program that I don't care about Kofi. I don't know him. But he himself chose to put his story out there. And so we are using his story as a test case to draw valuable lessons from it. Kofi is somebody I loved and respected dearly, and I still do. He is still a brother. But what he did was just out of context. He shouldn't have done that. Plain and simple. Now, number two, the reason
I
why
think
we women,
he himself
yeah, yeah,
I
go
think
ahead,
he
go ahead.
himself admits the fact that he he did something wrong.
Of course,
From
if you
the
have a
I
mind
watched,
and
yes,
your mind is screwed
yes,
on well in your head,
yes.
you will realize that you've done
So
something wrong.
for the very fact that he admitted he did something wrong,
It
and
means his
as
mind
such
is now screwed on well. Good.
didn't even merit the forgiveness of the lady, but the lady went on to forgive him anyway. It's a positive sign that he is now turning a new leaf. He is not going to repeat.
Perfect.
Only time will tell how everything will pan out. But
Mm-hmm.
for me, I believe that that recognition that he did something wrong alone is a significant fact to point to his forward-looking and
Of course.
making a change in his life.
Yeah.
And so I don't believe he is going to repeat whatever he did.
I hope
And
not.
that is
We
even
hope
more,
not.
the more reason why he wants to openly share these wrong things that he did so that other
Good.
people will learn lessons from it. And
Good.
also to openly showcase the lady so that those other people who may even want to come close for the fact that they want to benefit from his stardom, his properties, or whatever, will know that there is somebody he cherishes so much and wouldn't settle for if they should come close. I
Yeah.
believe those were the reasons why our brother decided to share the story
Mm-hmm.
in public. And though
Mm-hmm.
he was being restrained, he still
Mm-hmm.
wanted to do so because he now has a new mindset altogether and want to be committed fully to this woman and this woman alone. That is the lesson personally I learned from it. And in a way, we should be encouraging people to openly share their wrongdoings and for others to learn from them. Even when you come to Christianity, baptism, at the time of baptism, the person that is being baptized is openly making a statement that from this day forward, I am turning a new leaf. And so that public display of baptism is calling all people to be watching you and to whip you into line if you should go astray.
Astray.
And that is exactly what our brother did. And we should be encouraging people. We have sort of created a society uh, where we believe that once you are a man, you don't have to share anything uh, that relates to your relationship or your pains, the traumas that you'll be going through. Once you are a man, you have to harbor all. And some people have done that, and eventually uh, they ended up committing suicide and doing other unthinkable things. So we shouldn't take it that our brother is sort of trying to uh, portray a view that uh, we men have to continue to be indulging in that act and still to come back to be accepted by our wives. I don't think that is the lesson our brother wants us
No,
to
no,
learn
no.
from.
You see, Bra Kojo and Bra Kwame, as I keep on saying, I don't know Kofi. I don't know him personally.
Sure.
And the issue is that what he said and the mistake he made is not something that is uncommon. A lot of our fathers and grandfathers did the
Yes,
same thing.
sure.
But the reason why we switched on the camera here and are having this conversation is that on the back of what he said, right? There were
Yes.
women sat there saying that the wife is a woman among women, number one. And secondly, the wife herself said that other women can also do this because our mothers did it, our grandmothers did it. So the fact that
For
our
that,
grandmothers did it
I, I,
and our
I
mothers
will
did
not
it,
encourage.
does
I
that
will
mean we
not
should also do the same
encourage.
thing?
I will not encourage anybody to stay in an abusive relationship. I wouldn't encourage anyone. You see, we Christians have been very popular with this saying that God hates divorce. But we have also forgotten of other things that
God hates. When we
Good.
read Proverbs chapter 6, verse 16 to 19,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of things are mentioned over there that God hates.
Mm.
Lying tongues and
A haughty
somebody that
spirit.
devises evil, hot- a haughty spirit, all those other things. Why are we not teaching our members? But
Mm.
when it comes to divorce, God hates divorce. So you don't have to
Mm.
divorce even when you are
Mm.
dying. Even when the
Mm.
person attempts to kill you by poisoning your food and you don't die, they want you to stay. For me, that is not acceptable. If the person decides to forgive, fine.
That
But
is their
if
choice.
they decide not to
Mm.
forgive, if
Mm-hmm.
they decide not to forgive, nobody
Mm-hmm.
can fault them for not forgiving. Because
Mm-hmm.
even with God, forgiveness has a certain limit. That is
Thank
why we
you.
have that is why we have an unpardonable sin.
Mm.
Thank you.
Mm.
So let us not push anybody to get to the limit where the other person's patience will run out. Let us teach our members that a single wrongdoing can end the relationship. And so we all have to be forward looking to forge ahead in unity and to cherish one another. Don't allow one side to consistently be displaying acts that will break down the relationship and then tend to force or compel the other person to stay because God hates divorce. That is not acceptable
Hmm.
to me.
Mhm.
Now
Yo,
there's
so
one thing. There was one
yeah,
thing I'll just add to this before we wrap up.
yeah, because we
When
gotta
God
go.
when God was creating the world, what he said, I created all animals. And then when he got to man, what did he tell man? I said, man, he said, what? Man, I have given you dominion,
Over
right?
everything.
Thank you. So what does that mean? It means God has given you a thinking capability. Now, there's one great man that I know, a very successful man, and he said something. He says, those who make fewer mistakes in life are the most successful people you see. So that thing that, oh, we all make mistakes in life, we all make mistakes in life, I disagree with it. That is why you have a brain. You
Mm.
think things through.
Before you do
Sit
them.
down before you make them. Think, okay, this lady is bringing me from Ghana to Canada. This lady has been helpful
But
to me. My
sometimes
own
too,
family.
the fear of
Oh.
making mistakes limits your abilities. So we have to uh, think through whatever actions that we take
You
or
have
make,
to. At a
and
certain stage of
and
your life, you have to think through
and
every
also
single
be
thing.
responsible, and
Mm-hmm.
also be responsible for the consequences.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Brilliant.
Because if you don't think things through, you keep on committing the same mistakes and say, oh, in this world, we all make mistakes. Yes, we
Yeah.
do. I'm
Mm.
not saying that we don't.
For
We do. But
that
but
is a
think it through.
simplistic
Yeah.
generalization.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Sit down, think, okay, this that I'm going to do, what are the benefits I'm going to get out of it? Is this going
Okay.
to help my life or is this going to
Sure.
damage my life? So within that time frame, you can make a choice of your own, but not to see something with your bare eyes and then jump into it and then come back later on and say, oh man, I made a mistake. If I had known. That is why God gave you the thinking capabilities to think. If you read the Bible, the same Bible says, you sluggard, go to the ant and learn its ways.
Mm.
Sure.
Okay. So Bra Kojo, what are your last words? Because we really must go. I need to get to work. Okay. You have 3 minutes, and then I'll give Kwame No Face 3 minutes, and we're out of here. So you have 3 minutes, Bra Kojo. What are your final words on this?
My final words will be that marriage is a relationship that is very good. But then, when the parties don't accept the fact that they are moving uh, on in life and to cherish each other, to support each other, and keeps on showing signs that they are not interested in the relationship, the church shouldn't force them to stay in that relationship. I am saying force because that is what seems to be practically happening in our churches. We sort of compel those people to stay because we think God hates divorce. God hates many other things that are listed in Proverbs chapter 6, verse 16 to 19. And we should start teaching our church members that once they go contrary to the marriage vow, the marriage is not there in any way. Perhaps it is just a public display of some union, but even spiritually, the marriage is broken. So we'll be cautious when we push people to the point where they die in these relationships, and in the end, we begin to behind their back when they are dead and gone. Oh, we also realized this. We saw this. We saw that he shouldn't have done. He shouldn't have stayed. Meanwhile, while the person was alive, we were the very people encouraging or compelling them with some Bible quotations to stay. For me, that is not acceptable. So we should start teaching our members differently to appreciate the fact that some behaviors will end the relationship. And so they shouldn't go there in the first place. Thank you.
Thank you so much, our brother Kojo, for being here. Kwame No Face, help me say thank you to Brother Kojo, all the way
Bakujo,
from
thank you.
Ghana.
And hopefully we will, there might be more shows that, you might be coming on so we can all share our ideas, right?
I'm most grateful and always will join when I'm invited.
Yes, sir.
We salute.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Kwame No Face, what are your last words? Because I got to get to work, okay?
I know, simple. This is simple. Men, respect your women and love them. Women, vice versa. Stay away from slave queens and slave kings. And, try to build a future together, because I'm telling you, there is nothing more beautiful than building a future with one person and sitting back in your old days and looking back 30 years and remembering when we used to eat Gary soakings, and today we have steak and we have this. It's beautiful. Instead of allowing other people to be, because then your story is not complete. You understand?
Sure.
Allowing other children and having different kinds of children outside a marital home, it causes a lot of problems. It causes
Sure.
a lot of problems. So we need to think things through. I'm telling you, it is a very important thing. Super, very important. Sit down, think things through before you execute them. Because one mistake today can cause you a lifetime of pain.
Sure.
That's all. That's it. That's all I got to say. Done.
Okay, guys, thank you both so much for your time. It's been almost two hours of constantly going at this. I hope that the people that are here have learnt lessons. I just want to end this by saying that we don't have anything against Kofi. We don't.
Mm-mm.
We are just using the story that he himself shared. Nobody begged him to. He chose to. And so when you put something public, everybody is entitled to have an opinion. Everybody is entitled to have a lesson that they've drawn out of the story. The thing that has made us all sit here today and go through this whole issue It's not about what Kofi did or didn't do, or whether Miracle chose to help and stay or not stay. That is their choice. The two of them are in their marriage. That is their choice. But the advice that was given at that party to women is what has driven a lot of us who are empowered women, women who see ourselves as other things other than being in a marriage just to be called Mrs. Something. Turn on our cameras and try to debunk some of these myths that we have in life. I love you guys so much. Kwame No Face, God bless you. Brakojo, God bless you both for being here. Next week, I pray that we have the time and opportunity again to talk about something else that is also equally important, that will educate and elevate all of us on this platform. I salute everybody for being here. Thank you all for taking your time for being here. I love you guys, but I got to get to work. I love you. Bye bye.